Okay, chapter 20 of First Chronicles. This is David basically finishes the Ammonites, continuation of the last one. They're just like, well, we're going to just keep going here. So this is a really short chapter. So I'm going to jump in. Verse 1, it came to pass after the year was expired, at the time the kings go out to battle. This, I'm going to pause right there. This is an important thing to understand historically, okay? And I talk about this in 2 Samuel, I think it was around chapter 11. This story's in other details over there. So during the what was known as the year rites, usually around the solstice, springtime, when new growth, new life was coming forward, that was the time when people were saying, we need help. They gave extra oblations to God. They know it's time to start planting and preparing the ground for the harvest. And because they were reliant, they didn't have grocery stores and all this food chain supply and everything else that we have today. They literally lived on what they could grow and store. So they were very dependent upon weather and climate changes and those things. So at the same time, they renewed the vows with the king of who should be our king. And so that's what they're talking about here. The year was expired. That would tell us New Year's. Basically, we think of December 31st, January 1st. Their New Year's was more towards the end of winter, early spring. But this is at the time, there is a time when the kings go out to battle. This is the way for kings to push their supremacy, the kings to tell their people, I am the ruler, I am the person you want to be king. So in here it says, Joab led forth the power of the army, wasted the country of the children of Ammon, and came and besieged Rabbah. But David tarried at Jerusalem, and Joab smote Rabbah and destroyed it. So they used this opportunity to exert themselves and say, we are the true, David is the true leader. He is the king. So, and he's showing forth his power by attacking somebody else, and he takes out the Ammonites, basically. Now, verse 2, and David took the crown of their king from off his head and found it to weigh a talent of gold, that there were precious stones in it, and it was set upon David's head, and he brought also exceeding much spoil out of the city. And he brought out the people that were in it, and cut them with saws, and with harrows of iron, and with axes. Even so dealt David with all the cities of the children of Ammon. And David and all the people returned to Jerusalem. Now there's more in 2 Samuel. You can read about that. They basically just obliterated the people. And they made it so the people of Ammon are not going to be able to be a nation again, basically. It's quite a bit that they do. Now verse 4, it came to pass after this that there arose war at Gezer with the Philistines, at which time Sibbecai the Hushathite slew Sippai, that was of the children of the giant, and they were subdued. So remember, the children of the giant, the children of Goliath, the Philistine. So there were some wars and challenges that were happening. Verse 5, and there was a war again with the Philistines, and Elhanan, the son of Jair, slew Lamhi, the brother of Goliath the Gittite, whose spear staff was like a weaver's beam. And again, you can go back into 2 Samuel to learn more about these things here. Verse 6, and yet again there was war at Gath. There was a man of great stature, whose fingers and toes were 24, 6 on each hand, 6 on each foot, and he also was the son of the giant. So these, Goliath and his family are back in the news. They're back in the stories, basically. And he has a descendant that has 6 fingers and 6 toes. So there's probably some interesting genetic variability that's going on with this group, this family, basically. Verse 7, but when he defeated Israel, Jonathan, the son of Shimei, David's brother, slew him. These were born unto the giant in Gath, and they fell by the hand of David and by the hand of his servants. So again, there's more in 2 Samuel about that story of what happened. But now they tried to basically get some vengeance on David from slaying Goliath, and it didn't go so well for him, basically. Like it happened with every army, David never lost because God was with him and made sure he never lost. Basically, it was pretty pretty interesting guy. You'd never want to fight him, which is why we learned about the Syrians, the last chapter, giving him tribute rather than fight against him, and others. So let's jump to chapter 21 as we continue learning more.